We're going to begin this hour with breaking news in U.S. politics. Multiple media outlets are now reporting, as they cite their sources, Nikki Haley will drop out of the Republican primary race this morning. We do know she has set to hold a news conference at 10 a.m. Eastern from Charleston in her home state. Her exit today would pave the way for Donald Trump to secure the party's nomination and would set up a rematch with Joe Biden in November. Haley did score a surprise victory last night in Vermont. That was the only state of 15 Donald Trump did not take. She didn't speak publicly last night, but she is scheduled to hold that news conference. A statement from her campaign came out last night and thanked the millions of Americans who supported her campaign in yesterday's vote. So with that as the breaking news, let's bring in Richard Madden back from Virginia into our Washington bureau with this breaking news. It really seemed to be, to most observers, Richard, a matter of time. Looks like the announcement from Nikki Haley is coming this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Heather. And you're right. Exit stage right. The Wall Street Journal was first to report that she will drop out of the race with a statement later this morning. And really, Heather, that was the big question after those results last night. What would her next move be? She did have that glimmer of hope with her win in Vermont, which denied Trump a primary sweep of the 15 states. But what would she do next? There are reports that she will not endorse Trump or urge her supporters to unite behind him. So really, what does that do for party unity? From Trump's perspective, his grip of the party is all but cemented following last night's results. He also painted a bit of a bleak picture at his victory speech in Mar-a-Lago. Take a listen. Okay, so we don't have that, but he essentially said, painted a bleak picture, saying that his cities are choking to death, the states are dying, the country is dying. So a very dark image of the country as he is set to become the Republican presidential nominee. Now, if you dig deeper into these Republican primary results in the exit polls, Trump does face vulnerabilities. There is a faction of his own party, about a third of them who mostly live in the suburbs and have college degrees, who aren't on board the Trump train. Many of those voters voted for Nikki Haley. So the big question now is, where will those voters go when she drops out, according to the reports? And that's a scenario the Democratic Party's campaign co-chair says he sees an opportunity. Watch this.
She's winning in places where presidential elections are decided. And in that group of people, those folks are tired of Donald Trump taking the Republican Party as they once knew it. The party where the Cheneys and the Bushes and the Reagans and the Romneys and all of those folks used to live, and eviscerated it. And it's one of the reasons that we think that we have a really good chance.
Now, speaking of Democrats, President Joe Biden dominated his party's primaries, except for an upset loss to a relatively unknown in American Samoa. So, bottom line here, it's all but certain of a Trump-Biden rematch in November. In a statement, Biden urged Americans to not go backward in what he called the chaos, division, and darkness of a Trump presidency.
The rematch that polls show, Richard, most Americans do not want, they are going to get. And it all begins, well, essentially right now. What do we watch for next?
Yeah, so Heather, tomorrow President Biden will outline his vision in the State of the Union address to a divided Congress, and then circle your calendar for next Wednesday. That's when both Biden and Trump will likely clinch their party's nomination after primary contests in Georgia, Washington State, and Mississippi. In fact, both leaders will be campaigning in Georgia this weekend. Sum it all up, the kickoff to the general election is pretty much underway now.
Richard, thank you so very much. Richard Madden there in Washington with our Super Tuesday coverage and the big breaking news from Nikki Haley. Again, 10 o'clock from Charleston, South Carolina. That is Nikki Haley's home state, where she was governor for 2 terms and also the former UN ambassador for the United States. 10 o'clock, she'll be making what we understand to be brief remarks. She will announce that she's withdrawing, suspending her campaign, and will not endorse Donald Trump, according to Wall Street Journal reporting. She will encourage him to work to earn the support of independents and moderates, those who supported her campaign to this point. She will not endorse him directly today. Again, that's according to the Wall Street Journal, one of many media outlets with this breaking news this morning.